for hundreds of aspirants seeking to run for the August 8th general election on Jubilee ticket. As the deadline for submitting their papers comes to a close today, the party had extended the period by 5 days to allow for last-minute defectors to join the party. This comes as rival Orange Democratic Party releases a new party nomination schedule, moving the commencement date of the party primaries from the 1st of April to the 7th. The exercise will conclude on the 22nd of April, with 3 counties holding their nominations each day. We now have Sam Ogina standing by to bring us details of that developing story. Okay, Sam will be joining us a little later on. Let's return to the gentlemen we have in studio to give us their views on this. Just a reminder of our guests: William Oduor, Governor aspirant of Siaya County; Irungu Kangata, MP of Kiharu; and Charles Munyui, MP aspirant of Kiambaa. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's start with Charles and Irungu, just to get your details before we move to William as well, and move this a little bit to Sonko first of all, who's running into early headwinds. Are these signs that he will find rough waters ahead? What are your thoughts on that, Irungu?
Let me first announce that I have a vested interest in that matter for several reasons. Number one, I am a key supporter of Peter Kenneth. I would want Peter Kenneth to run this city for several reasons. Number one, he's a credible candidate. He did a lot to the people of Gatanga, and I also believe once he is elected to become the governor of Nairobi, he is going to do much more and be able to portray that the current governor has really failed the people of Nairobi. And also, most importantly, we people of Murang'a, we have an issue concerning water. We feel Nairobians they consume 90% of their water from Murang'a, but they don't pay a coin. We believe if we have a person who has roots in Murang'a, we shall be able to push our case better, and most likely we extract some more coins from Nairobians, which money is going to be used to protect the water basins in Murang'a and ensure there is continuation of services in Murang'a region and also Nairobi. Be that as it may, in regard to Sonko, I strongly believe that there is every likelihood that it is only Peter Kenneth who will be cleared by Jubilee Party. I would urge Sonko to reconsider his decision to vie for the Nairobi seat. I also urge Sonko to come back to the fold, discuss with Peter Kenneth. Most likely he gets the deputy governor position, or he can also opt again to vie for the senatorial position in Nairobi.
Charles, just following up on that and your thoughts on whether, many elected leaders accompanied Sonko's competitor, who's Peter Kenneth, as he presented his papers. Is it possible choice for Jubilee? Is it possible that the choice for in Nairobi has already been made in your just in your outlook with everything that's happening?
I don't think so. If you look at the way Jubilee is operating, they are very clear in their mind that this is going to be free and fair process of nomination. This is actually just the beginning. The issue of papers, presenting your papers, is a very, very basic requirement. So all that needs to happen is that if you have your papers in order, you present them. And I don't think a lot should be read from that, because if you've not presented documents that are requisite, that are required by the party, and to a large extent those are the documents that IEBC would go for, and Kenyans in general, because you need a certificate of good conduct, you need your education certificates. Those are basic documents. In the event if they even accept you as you are without any papers, ultimately you will not be able to vie and represent Jubilee. So I think it's a very, very basic issue. Everything should happen, and then if there are issues of negotiation, they should come after everyone has presented their papers, so that the Jubilee can agree internally who is most likely to take this home. So I think, to me, Sonko should present his papers. If they're in order, they should be accepted, and then matters of who becomes the deputy, the running mate, the governor candidate, are issues that either will be agreed on through the ballot, or they will be agreed on through a negotiated process. And I think those two gentlemen are capable of sitting down and agreeing on how they are going to go about that.
All right, in just a few moments we'll get William Oduor's views on the national politics as well. But for now, we cross over to Sam Ogina, who is standing by at Jubilee House, where Mike Sonko is expected to present his papers this morning. Sam.
Well, rightly so, as you put it, Janet, at the Communication Center, we expect the arrival of Nairobi Senator Mike Mbuvi Sonko to present his papers. given that yesterday there was controversy surrounding his documentation, saying that he had been denied the certificate of good conduct by the DCI, and also that the party was asking him to produce his KCSE certificate just to ascertain that he went through the education system, and that his certificates, or rather his degree certificates, subsequent degree certificates, are equally authentic. Now today Sonko will be presenting his papers here, just trying to clear the air in as much as his documentation is concerned. So we're going to see if at all he has gotten the certificate of good conduct, and as well as that KCSE certificate, and also subsequent certification in terms of his degree holder capacity. But also remember that as much as Sonko is coming here today for clearance for governorship of Nairobi, it will be remembered that a team member of Team Nairobi yesterday, that is Johnson Sakaja, the nominated MP, presented his papers being cleared for the Nairobi senatorial seat. Now, this actually puts into doubt the existence of Team Nairobi as it was then, because we saw yesterday Sakaja being actually escorted by a number of members or leaders who actually also escorted Peter Kenneth when he was presenting his papers for the Nairobi governorship. Now, when he was asked whether he is Team Nairobi or he has joined Team Peter Kenneth, he said that he is actually promoting or propagating Team Jubilee, as it were, saying that he's trying to bridge the gap between Team Nairobi and Peter Kenneth, because earlier on there was contestation between Team Nairobi and Peter Kenneth, saying that Peter Kenneth is being imposed on Nairobi, and saying that he is not a person from Nairobi, given that in the last general election he contested for the presidential, he was a presidential aspirant in the last general election. So this whole controversy of Johnson Sakaja joining or being seen by leaders who escorted Peter Kenneth then also puts into doubt the existence of Team Nairobi, as it were. Remember, Team Nairobi was, or rather consisted of Sonko himself, Sakaja, and also Dagoretti South Member of Parliament, that is Dennis Waweru, and Bishop Margaret Wanjiru. Now, we know that Sonko might be accompanied by Dagoretti South Member of Parliament, that is Dennis Waweru. Dennis Waweru also categorical that he's still going for the governorship position, as much as we've had rumors flying around that he might be considering going back to contest for the Nairobi, for the Dagoretti South parliamentary seat. Now, all these are going to be put into perspective the moment these aspirants Sonko and the Dagoretti South Member of Parliament are going to present their papers here today. Now we will be able to tell for sure if Sonko will be vying for the Nairobi governorship or will be presenting his nomination papers for the governorship, and if at all the Jubilee party is going to clear him to contest for the Nairobi governorship position, and as well if the Dagoretti South Member of Parliament, Dennis Waweru, is going to present his papers for either Dagoretti South or the Nairobi governor position. Now, those are some of the things that we'll be able to distill the moment these two individuals or these two leaders come here to present their nomination papers. It is, of course, something that has been dicey within the Jubilee party. Who will Jubilee party elect, or rather appoint, to actually contest the Nairobi governorship position, or who will Jubilee actually put forward as the rival or competitor to Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero? Jubilee quite keen to take over the Nairobi governorship position from ODM, really wrestling control of Nairobi County, as it were. Back to you in studio, Janet.
Ina, thank you for that. We'll talk a little bit more about Jubilee politics right now before moving to NASA politics in a few moments, where William Odor will give us his views on that. For Charles and Irungu, yesterday we saw, for example, Sakaja submitting papers for the senatorial seat, where earlier on he talked about his interest in the gubernatorial race. Are we likely to see these changes take place now that the reality of the submission of papers is upon us? Maybe we could start with you, Irungu.
Well, you can't tell per se. It depends on several factors. It depends whether Mr. Sonko will insist on vying as a governor, or he may as well be he may as well decide to change tact and decide to vie for the seat of the Senate. If at all that happens, there is every likelihood Sakaja may be forced out and be told probably either to vie for another position, which I don't know how that will pan out, how that time is running out, or maybe some other discussion regarding getting another portfolio. But all factors remaining constant, and if at all today date is not going to be changed. I have heard rumors that the deadline has been pushed, I don't know, to next week Friday, but I'm not so certain. But assuming today is the last day, then it means today we shall know whether Sonko is vying for governor, whether Sakaja is vying for Senate in totality.
All right. What about you, Charles, just in terms of whether or not people are going to begin to change and maybe go for seats that they feel would be maybe easier to campaign for? What are your thoughts on that?
I think what must be happening is there must be discussions behind the scenes. There must be a lot of discussions going on, and Sakaja cannot just wake up in the morning and decide to present papers for the senatorial position. In my opinion, I think that ideally, because Sakaja's name was being thrown out there as one of the that might easily deputize Peter Kenneth. So I think to me that position is being left vacant deliberately, so that in the event there is a discussion between Sonko and Peter Kenneth, that position, which would be ideal in as far as I'm concerned, it would be there for Sonko to be negotiated with, without any fear that there might be someone who might be keen on the position. So I think to me it's a clear indication that these people are talking, and naturally, because to be a deputy governor or running mate to someone, you must also be equally qualified to be the governor. I think the issue of papers that is happening today is a pointer that after that has happened, the discussion will now fall on what happened in terms of who takes what position now that Sakaja is out of the way, and a lot of other people that had suggested they might want that, including Dennis himself. I'm seeing Dennis going for the Dagoretti seat as it were, and then it will be a question of Peter Kenneth and Sonko discussing how now to go about, because Nairobi is very important for Jubilee, and I think no less a person than the president and the deputy president have said in as many words that they cannot afford to lose Nairobi. So I think negotiations will be a very, very key issue around this time. Very
quickly again, Charles, before we move to William, can we have Sonko out in the cold? Your thoughts? You've just seen, you know, Sam give us a profile of what's expected today. We also know that he's coming against the backdrop of a lot of forces, it would appear, trying to fight him in his competition. Or could he switch and run independently? Do you think that's an option for him?
It is an option, but I see Sonko as someone who likes winning, and he knows he stands a better chance by being Peter Kenneth's deputy, because automatically in 5 years I don't see Peter Kenneth going for the seat for 10 years. I'm seeing Peter Kenneth as a very serious candidate for the deputy president's position in 2022. So I think Sonko will be more comfortable sitting in there pretty, being the deputy governor Nairobi, and then maybe 5 years from now he'll be ready to even take the reins. I think that to me must be the workings around it. I don't see him running as an